Anyways, for anyone who just joined us, we're having a little total sidebar there. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, we're still good. Welcome. Tuesdays with the primary crew on a sunny Tuesday.
Looks like weather's looking up after tonight.
I know, thank goodness, because if I have to go out and cover my plants one more time, I'm going to lose my marbles.
Isn't it supposed to be -5 overnight?
It is.
Yeah, I'm going to cover them tonight. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to just be done with it. Oh, we got blankets everywhere and towels on things, and it's insane.
What do you have planted in your garden so far?
Well, we haven't done any veggies or anything yet. So far, it's just like when you come into our backyard, we did like last year, we did a whole side pathway. So there's flagstone and like black stones and stuff. So this year we put plants down, and we put them in a few weeks ago. And I know we were early, but Sipkins advised us, like it was hostas and grasses and things that like are okay right now. But that being said, they're also, you know, freshly planted, and they're gonna go to shock if they get like frozen. So I'm out like a crazy woman at 10 o'clock at night with like piles of towels, throwing it over things and buckets, and it's ridiculous.
I have all my lettuces planted and my radishes, and my peas are a couple inches, but they're all stuff that can tolerate cold weather.
Yeah, I was thinking of planting, so I've got a bunch of stuff growing in an indoor garden or greenhouse at home. I got peas and lettuce growing inside, but I was wondering about planting a few things outside this weekend, like the things that are a little hardier.
Yeah, your lettuces are good, and your radishes and peas right now.
Okay. What about like garlic and like onions and that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I don't do those. I mean, I do onions, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, in case you're joining us, apparently it's gardening tips with the primary crew today. So welcome. Tip 1, cover your plants like a crazy person at 10 o'clock at night, if you're me. Oh, Gretchen says garlic should be planted in the fall. Oh, crud. Okay. Thanks, Gretchen. Where were you in the fall?
But you can always take your primary, if you, do it at home, and you can take a video outside in your garden and show them measuring your plants and how many centimeters they've grown after a few days. And
yes, we've got celery. We're doing that with celery right now. We're doing the celery experiment. So, and Ben, you're not in the wrong meeting. We're just doing cross-curricular connections here.
That's right.
It is 2 o'clock. Did you want to get started, Tim? Sorry, Ben.
No, I'm just saying I'm hungry now after all this vegetable talk. So it's fantastic. Really enjoying it. Thanks everybody for being here. And as always, I appreciate our folks who host, but those who share, and just thanks for what we're doing every day. We're meeting needs and families as we go. With care.
Did we cut out?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I think we're good now.
Okay. Well, let's get started. I think Ben cut out. Oh, no, you're okay. Okay. So thanks for joining us. Sunny Tuesday afternoon. Primary crew day with you and our guest teacher. I guess we'll do our introductions in a minute. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. So our guest teacher, actually, Nicole, do you want to speak?
So today, absolutely, I'd love to introduce her. Today we have Kendra Jackson joining us from Riverview Central, and Kendra teaches SK1, and she has lots of good stuff to share with us today. So welcome, Kendra.
Thank you.
And just as a piece of that too, we're always looking for people to be our guest teachers. And on one of the slides there, when we talk about our guest teachers, it might be the next slide, I just put a note in the bottom talking about how if you're nervous about being a guest teacher, it's really not about being an innovator. It's about taking an idea that you found somewhere and it's maybe worked really well in your classroom, and then you've said, hey, you know what? I'm going to share this. So if we ask you to be a guest teacher, and we know there's a lot going on and we know how busy you are, but if it's more about you just being worried about it not being your idea, very few of these ideas are our ideas. We've taken an idea and we've spun it in some way. And so that's what we're willing or asking of you guys, because we don't want to hear all from us, because there's so much value in hearing from each other. And so if you feel like, oh, I have this really good idea, but it wasn't mine, great. You know what? Tell us where you got it from, and then share with us what you've done with it, because chances are somebody else may take that idea and then run with it.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder.
That's right. And even if you're feeling a little reluctant to be a part of this with us, Kendra, did you say yes to me the first time I asked you?
No.
That's right. So it's okay to put yourself out there, because we're just trying to help each other out.
And we appreciate you being here. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So our territorial land acknowledgement.
We acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered is part of the traditional territory of the Chippewa, Odawa, Potawatomi, and Delaware nations. These indigenous nations, known as the Anishinaabeg and Lenape, agreed through their ancestral languages to the mutual sharing of the land, with obligations and responsibilities to the environment. Today, these responsibilities and obligations extend to all peoples.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. So just kind of our agenda for the day. As always, it's possible we will go off track, but this is the original plan at least. We're gonna just do a brief check-in about Apple Clips. And last week we did a live demo around that. So we were just wondering if anybody tried it and what your thoughts were. If you wanna come off mic and tell us about it, or type in the chat, we'd be happy to hear from you. That being said, too, if you didn't try it or did try it, and there's some other questions you have around it too, please let us know, because we can do our best to try and answer those for you as well today. Okay.
I do also know that a few people said they were trying the Adobe Spark. And so we did share both of those. We did the Adobe Spark and the Apple Clips, but we know you're busy, but if you do get a chance to try it and you want to share something, again, that's that whole idea of, hey, I took an idea and I ran with it. And this is what it looked like. So Gwen, you tried it. Which one did you try, Gwen?
Yay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to plug my earbuds in. Okay, I tried the Clips, which is the one that I was super curious about. I've used Spark before lots and lots of times, but it wasn't working for me for a read aloud. But the Apple Clips worked fantastic. Took me a little bit of going back to my notes that I had made while you guys were showing it last week, but I got through it and I posted it, and the kids were really excited about it. It was something new to see, so it was great. Thank you for the help.
Exciting.
Thanks.
That's so great, Gwen. Thanks for sharing that with us, and I'm happy you tried it. Is there any questions that you had around it, or you're still just kind of playing around with it?
Oh, I'm still a total noob, but but I'm jumping in and trying. So I think I'm okay so far, but I will absolutely reach out if I have more questions, because I'm sure that there's more that can be done that I didn't. I went simple, like super simple, but it was neat. It was fun to try.
Awesome. I see a quick question in here from Amy in the chat. What program or app were you using that had the background moving, The Incredibles? That was Clips. Yeah. So that was the scenes function in Clips. And we've got, so Gwendolyn tried it. Laura loves Clips. Lindsay Valchek, I used Clips this week too. Lindsay, you want to tell us about it?
Sure. I did the little flat teacher activity. So I had seen it kind of going around, and I made my Bitmoji and sent it out to the kids. And last week I asked them to send me pictures of them doing an activity with flat teacher. And so this week what I did, when I sent out the same activity again so they can continue doing their little activities with me, But I also put together an Apple Clips video of their pictures from last week so that they could see. So I know not everybody has a printer, so I had offered to my students that if they weren't able to print it, that they just needed to let me know. And I'm actually making a trip to Corunna later this week to drop off a few that I've printed for them so that nobody's left out.
Awesome.
But I had about 4 kids participate last week and send me pictures. So I was with one kid, I was eating cabbage rolls with him, and I was playing a board game. I got put on somebody's cup, so he now has a Miss Volchek cup that he's drinking from all the time. So I put that out to the kids, and I got a really positive response from the families. And now I have more kids who, we had our Google Meet this morning, and a bunch of them had printed off Flat Teacher and brought her along to our Google Meet. So I know more kids will participate next week, and it's just a fun thing to get them to engage. And
yeah, so two
Keep them
things.
connecting.
Yeah. 2 things about that, Lindsay. I know some of the families that you teach, and they posted on social media about how much they love the activity. So that's awesome. I saw Flat Lindsay on social media.
Oh, great. Oh, no.
Also, when you're making the rounds dropping off Flat Lindsay, I want a copy on my doorstep because I think I could have a lot of fun bringing Flat Lindsay around with me too. So.
Oh, I think that could be dangerous.
You know what I connected to, Lindsay, was we were talking earlier in the week about leveraging our kids to engage more kids. And that's what it sounds like you did, right? So this morning they brought those little Flat teachers. Well, I guarantee you this afternoon, there's probably some parents all printing off the Flat teacher right now. Yeah. And that's what we're going to talk about with Kendra too, because Kendra was able to leverage her kids to engage the kids, which is really neat.
So I had one kid at the Google Meet today say, oh, I didn't know, like, how did they get theirs? And I said, like, if you don't have a printer, it is on your Seesaw, but just have your families message me and I can help out with that. I also had one kid whose family made him his own Bitmoji. So now Flat Kid and Flat Teacher can go on adventures together.
Lindsay, for those who are wondering how you did your Flat Lindsay or Flat Mrs. Volchek, how did you do that?
I used the Bitmoji app. So all I did was Bitmoji. I found an activity on Teachers Pay Teachers that it was already laid out as an assignment with suggestions for families to do, which was really easy. And then just in the Bitmoji app, I was able to copy, I think I just searched for pose. So I sent out a few poses of me. So one's just like me smiling and then me waving, and I have one of me making a like silly face, and they could print out one of them or all of them. Bitmoji's really, really friendly to use, and it was actually originally Bitstrips, which was meant for kids to use, so it's very kid friendly also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the like when you see our Bitmojis and our slideshows and stuff, that's what we use. Super, if you haven't played around with Bitmoji yet, super user friendly and so fun. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank
you. And I saw a question in the chat, and yeah, I did send it out digitally to the families. I sent out a PDF in Seesaw, so the families that could print it did print it themselves.
So you just uploaded that onto Seesaw then through the upload tool?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. And we got Kelly also tried Clips last week. So this is great. How many people are trying Clips? I love it.
And Kendra can also further that too, because she's going to show you something in a little bit of how she's used Clips.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's get to respond to a few email questions. So as usual, like we love hearing questions from you guys. So if you have a question, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us and we will do our best to answer it as best we can. So do we want to flip to our email questions?
Yes.
Where'd they go? Oh, right there. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
So we had 2 questions brought to us. So I'm going to take care of the first one. And this was with the help from Mr. Hazard this morning. So in our meeting earlier, we were talking about PDF documents. You've purchased or you've come across a PDF document, but you don't want to use it all, but you only want to take like 1 page of it and then use it, transform it into a Google Doc. I was always just doing screenshots. So I was taking my screenshot of it. Mr. Hazard shared with me today, which I'm going to share with you. So I have this document. It's a PDF. Can you see my, can I screen share now, Nicole?
Yep. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there you go. It's yours.
Perfect. And I'm going to share. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I have this PDF document and it's in my Google Drive and it's like 45 pages long. But what I want to do is I want to just take session 1, which is an introduction lesson. Pretend this is like a reproducible you want for your kids. What Mr. Hazard was sharing with me, Ben shared how when you go to print it, and this is what I've done to create PDFs. So you go to print it, and when you go to your print function, you can save it as a PDF. I've done that before. What I learned when you go to your more settings is I don't want all of the pages. I only want the custom page, and maybe it's page 3, which happens to be session 3. So I only take the page I want for the printable, and then I go down and I open it in that PDF preview. When you open it up in the preview, you can save it as a PDF, just that page. So that page becomes its own PDF. And so what I've done is after I've saved that, it's now on my screen as a single page. I usually save it to my desktop just so I know where it is. It's now just a 1-page PDF that I've removed from the entire PDF document. I also just screen share. There's a few ways that we do that, but I thought that was a pretty neat way Mr. Hazard shared with me there.
My name's
Ben,
there, Shannon. Come on.
Thank you for that, because that was neat, because I've always just been screenshotting. So you were telling us how you were working through that with Erica, and that really works well. So did I miss anything on that, Mr. Hazard?
I think the big part, can you hear me okay? Anna? Give me some.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just connected a different way with my audio so it doesn't glitch as much.
Yeah.
But basically almost every computer has a save as PDF function on it, Mac or Windows. So if you just in your printing section settings find the save as PDF function, that should work like a charm for you. You just print that page to a PDF and you've broken that apart. Without doing that, it's really complicated. That's the other part to it. It's really tough to do.
Did anybody have anything else to add to that? Jana, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Hopefully we've answered that question. I played with it for the first time this morning with that PDF. It seemed to be really simple. And I didn't realize that when you can save it as a PDF that you can save custom pages, which I think is a really neat function on that. Are there any questions about that one?
I wanted to also share another quick and easy screenshotting idea, but I'm calling on our buddy Teen to share. I'm just kind of texting him to see. Oh, he's listening in. Okay. So we've been making those remote packages and things, right? And we've been doing a lot of like using a variety of documents and screens and things, and tech is not my strong suit. And he told me about a program. Teen, are you there? Can you tell everyone what it's called?
Yeah, sure. It's an open source piece of software, so it's free. It's for Windows, and it's called Greenshot. So GREENSHOT, and it allows you to screenshot the whole screen or just portions of the screen. It allows you to like pixelate certain areas of the screen. So it's a really nice tool for putting together, you know, things from different sources. Basically all you need to do is just hit your print screen button, and it will start. You can draw a box around what you want, and it's very user friendly.
It's like beyond user friendly. Like I'm not great at that kind of stuff, and I literally just click print screen. It gives me, I can draw the box around anything I want. I copy it to my clipboard, I can use it over, and then all I have to do is like reference where I got it from. So I just thought that might be another helpful little tip, because it's been a game changer for me, that's for sure.
Okay, I think part of that question as well about the PDF was, is it possible to take that PDF, not just break it down by page, but then to put it into a Google Doc?
Are you asking us, Nicole?
I am putting it to.
Okay. It's like, am I supposed to answer this? So is that like what we've talked about previously, where people attach links to Google Docs type thing? Would that be kind of how you would think that would be managed?
Yeah, so Gwen's asking, is it possible to make the printed PDF writable? I think when you open it with Google Docs, what happened to me was it lost all of its prettiness. It just became like a text.
Yeah, I would think about adding it as an image in Seesaw, and then people can write on top of it.
Likely the easiest way. You know, PDFs are pretty protected, so you can mark up on an iPad things, but you know, Seesaw our students have. So an image and writing on top of that image is certainly probably a pretty smooth way.
Yeah.
Bethany, did you want to share what you meant by you can mark it up?
Vanessa?
Hey, it's just when you, sorry, I'm talking about in the Google Classroom and like through the Google Suites. Like, so if you open a PDF, usually on an iPad or on a, I guess a phone, you can, there's an option to mark it up and you can like draw over top of it. It's what we use in enrichment a lot with the kids when I send them out PDFs of like brain teasers or they're collaborating and that kind of stuff, but it's not like beautiful. It's very like rudimentary.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Bethany. And Lindsay, you said you're making it a background in slides and then you can write on it from slides for people using Classroom. Gwen, you said you've done that before?
Yeah, I've done that with older kids. I teach primary now, but with older kids or anybody who's using Classroom as their platform, I will just import things into slides, make it a background, and then they can write on it or make text boxes, whatever.
Super. Nicole, did you want to address the second one that we talked about? In order for parents to access the Seesaw activities that are assigned to their children, must they be on the Classroom app or Family app? And I believe it said, or did it matter?
Yeah, I was actually hoping that Kendra could help us out here.
Perfect.
Kendra, would you like to speak to that one?
Sure. So in my experience anyways, on the Family app, they can only see the activities that have actually been published that I've said okay. So they need to go into the Classroom app to be able to see the things that are assigned.
Okay. And then if you wanted to give a heads up to the parents that you're posting an activity, you could just screenshot the activity and say, here you go, these are going out today. And you also mentioned something else you do, Kendra.
So in the morning, I just send out a note to the families and I just hit the add button on Seesaw, like you'd be posting a regular thing in the classroom, and I just type in the notes section and say that this is what our activities are today, and then that goes right to their family app so that they know that to check the classroom app for all of the activities that are there in the feed.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And sorry, Gwen, I misunderstood you. So you were using the same thing. You were explaining that you were using the draw tool in Seesaw, drawing on it as an image.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry about that. Glad I clarified that.
Okay, so we have, if there's no more questions there to address, I think we're good. Yep. Our next part of this, we're just going to have Kendra here today to talk to us about how she connects students on a regular basis, but she connects them through her students actually leading the learning, that she guides the learning, but her students are taking the main role in guiding the learning to engage and motivate each other to elevate their learning. So Kendra, go to the next one here. Okay, so Kendra Jackson, and we'll start with this.
Okay, so do you want to start with the math or the language?
Let's go language.
Okay. So I guess I was looking to shake things up a little bit with my read alouds. I was looking for some inspiration. So I'd put a question out to my kids and had asked who their favorite authors were. I was kind of looking to see what they were hoping to learn and everything. So I had one student message me back and say that he was his favorite author, and he shared his book here that he's written probably 5 or 6 books so far this year. So I kind of thought that I would try and roll with that, and I asked if I could share his video with the class and we could challenge the rest of the class to write their own stories. I'm SK1, so it's the writing component has been something that I was hoping to focus on a lot more in the spring session. So he shared his video, and then I shared it out to everyone on Seesaw, and then created this activity here. And then I received, I think, 1 submission the first day, so I was kind of feeling like, oh, maybe it wasn't the best activity. But then I ended up sharing that submission, and we've done an author a day for our focus, and the kids have really jumped onto that, and I think they're really enjoying it, and they're liking to be able to connect with their classmates and see their classmates that way as well. And so that's been really good with us. So this is Finn's activity here, and then I don't know if you want to go to.
Do you want me to play your instructions or his video, or go to your other one?
If you want to go to the examples, if you want to go to Claire's.
Okay, so here.
Yeah, so one of the cute ones we got is called Bye Bye Coronavirus. So I'd asked if I could share this today.
Bye bye coronavirus. Coronavirus, it is sad.
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay.
But why is it sad? What? So why is it sad? What? Where are my friends?
This is amazing, by the way.
She's actually SK, so I was pretty pretty impressed
I love
with her.
it.
They are at home like me.
Oh,
I
sorry.
can.
That's okay. Yeah, so she wrote her coronavirus, bye-bye coronavirus, and then I posted that to the group, and then
See my friends again.
It delays every page turn.
Thanks for reading my book. Goodbye. I love you too. Made by Claire Nesbitt. Goodbye.
Yeah, so I guess what I was trying to do when I was sharing the first one, I just shared it out there, and then I was getting a couple responses from the kids, just saying, oh, I liked your book, or this was awesome, things like that. So then from there, I tried to create a little bit of a follow-up activity, or make a connection to the story type. So this one here, I just said in Claire's book, she was excited to see her friends once it's safe. What are you excited to do? And write a sentence and draw a picture. And so that's been going really well in our class. We've had how to make a fairy garden. We've had the monster. We've had my toys, lots of different things coming in. And I think the kids are really enjoying seeing their peers and working with each other, working with the authors in our class. So,
Kendra, we have a question for you. Denise. And thank you, Denise, for bringing this up, because I think a lot of people are wondering about this. So Denise is like, thank you. This is exactly what she wants to know more about, connecting those kids to each other. And so how did you ask if you could share these? How did they give permission, and what did that look like?
So just over Seesaw?
Yeah.
So I checked in with my principal, and because of our closed classroom, we've been sharing on there. And I also have said on a lot of the activities that they're sending back to me, if you want me to share with your class. So for example, for this one, I've only probably got 10 out of the kids that have sent one back, and a couple of kids I know wouldn't feel comfortable sharing things like that. So I'm not expecting to get one back from them, but that's kind of how I've gone with that. With Fins, initially, I sent a message to mom and just said, hey, can I share this? I'd love to make this into an activity. And she said, go for it. So then I've gone with that from there. When they send theirs in, then I can make it into an activity from there.
And can I ask you a question? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nicole.
No, go ahead.
I'm curious about what you were just saying about, so after cute little bye-bye coronavirus, you sent out some questions to the students, like as a follow-up activity, and maybe this is kind of the next thing you're going to be speaking to, but I wanted to know a little more about that. Like, what does that look like? Is that you sending a video out to the class? Can you explain a bit more about that?
In terms of their responses?
In terms of like after, maybe I misunderstood, I'm not sure. After Claire sent something, I think you said you sent some follow-up activities to it type thing, like some questions and things?
Yeah, so on that last screen that Nicole just had up, there was an example of one of the kids that sent back what they were looking forward to. So,
in response to this right here that you have.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you see that?
I see it. Okay.
Explain that. Yep. So what I like about what Kendra does as well, and most people probably do this, but I like how Kendra adds her text instructions as well to cater to those children who wouldn't necessarily be able to read those instructions. So you can see below how you can read over or voice over.
Hey SK1s! Our SK1 author today is Claire, and her book is called Bye Bye Coronavirus. So first I'd like you to watch the video of Claire reading her book. And then after you're done watching, in Claire's book, she is excited to see her friends once it is safe. What are you excited to do? Write a sentence and draw a picture.
And then down there, Kendra, is that what you generally?
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that response was, I can't wait to see and play with all my friends. So we've got a couple kids excited to go to the mall and a couple of kids excited to go to their cottage and lots of different things there. So.
And are you getting, do most of them draw back, or do they probably just draw your response, or?
It depends on the kid. Sometimes they'll write it on a piece of paper and take a picture of it and send it back that way. And sometimes they use the draw feature on Seesaw, whatever works best for them. Sometimes I specifically say that I want a pencil and paper task just because I want them to keep up that fine motor. But then other times I leave it up to them, however they'd like to submit it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want to go to your next one?
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions for Kendra on that before we move to the next share? It's that awkward silence again that we get not happening. No, okay.
I do. I just wondered, did Kendra, did the kids use the Seesaw app to record themselves, or did they just use their device to record themselves? Do you know what they did?
So I'm not entirely sure for each kid, but they could either use the Seesaw app and just tap the video when they're submitting their response, or if they wanted to do it on another device, they could record it and save it to their camera roll, and then they could just upload that video from mom's phone or anything like that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Kendra, can the other students see each other's responses?
No, I don't have that enabled on my Seesaw. I think that's the, I believe that was part of the privacy that we talked about, that you can see it in the class app at school, but not in the home learning app. But what I have done with the number talks is I have downloaded them and put them into a clips video and then shared them with the other students, just to kind of show the different strategies that the kids are showing on their number talks that way. So that is a way, if you wanted to share some of their responses, I could, for the responses from "What are you excited?" I could download those and make them into a video and then upload that if I wanted to.
That's awesome. Another way to use clips, right?
Yeah.
Or the
yeah.
Spark, whatever you want. That's neat.
Yeah.
There's an idea we took as a read aloud. That's where it started, and now we're spinning it off into a way that we can show student work. So there we go. That's all about building that knowledge together and refining it and changing it as we need it. So that's pretty neat. So you are now going to share something else here.
Yeah, so the number talks, this was an idea I actually got from Nicole. She had made this number talk subitizing activity and shared it on the community, the board-wide community on Seesaw. So I put it out to my kids because that's something that we've focused a lot in math this year on number talks, and I thought that it'd be kind of cool if another way for them to engage with each other. So I sent out for them to look at the pictures, tell me how many you see with the microphone, show me how you see them with the drawing tool. And then the last slide there said, find some household items and line them up in groups and send them back, and I'll use it as a number talk. So I've got lots of different things like Kleenex boxes and little cars and markers and army figures, all those different things that the kids are sending in. And so each day I send out a new number talk. Yeah, we've got goldfish there. I think I had a dump truck with dualies on the back that they were sending. How many tires do you see?
I love that you're calling it Lucas's number talk.
4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Four,
I like how you're showing different strategies.
Yeah, so that's where I made the clips video there with the different ways that the kids counted them. And then I uploaded that as part of the activity, and then the picture is the template. So that's actually Lucas's picture here, which is the activity for today, but the goldfish was from the number talk from yesterday. So just kind of building on how they answered it and different things that they could use in today's number talk.
So that video was actually Blake's number talk, it said.
Yeah, from yesterday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, connecting the kids, right?
Yeah.
Kendra, I have goosebumps all over.
I know.
I'm a big fan of number talks. They just get me so excited. But I love.
So the kids are still learning from each other. So I guess you have that.
I think Nicole froze on us.
Yeah. Am I good now?
Yep.
So what I like about that is that's what's missing from the classroom, right? Is the kids aren't able to learn alongside each other and with each other. But when you do that part of it, Kendra, and when you're able to take their videos and piece them together and send them out for each other to see, you're now giving them that piece that they can remotely learn alongside each other and learn from each other. And I think that's so empowering, is not just learning from you, but is kids that are kids being able to see their peers and what they're doing. And that's very motivating and inspiring for the other kids too.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, now that you say that, it reminds me when I first sent it out, we just got done doing a 3D geometry. So I had, when I said, tell me what you see and how you see them, the very first one that I sent was some Kleenex boxes. And the kids said they saw Kleenex boxes and they saw rectangular prisms. And so then I thought, oh, okay, so that was part of why I made the videos in clips, to show them some of the other kids' responses, because they were counting by twos or counting by ones, things like that. So I could kind of guide their learning in that way. And then since then, we've got counting by threes, counting by fours, things that I didn't even know that they could do. But yeah, no, it's been really good.
I feel like Jen and I are like on a mission here to both jump in. I saw her unmute her mic at the same time as me. But I wanted to say, like, that is just so responsive of you. Like, that is an example right there of like just-in-time teaching and like content being driven by the learners, and like you're using what they're showing you and you're modeling it, and then you're kind of expanding on it. And that's just so awesome.
And Gwendolyn has a question for you, Kendra. So when you use their videos and clips, how do you actually do that? Are you downloading each sample? Are you including everyone, or are you just picking some different strategies that you want to highlight?
So I've been keeping a list. I'm trying to include all of the kids that are submitting things. So I try to kind of cross-reference between picking strategies that I want them to work on, but also including everyone's submission. So I usually just highlight 2 or 3 kids a day. Sometimes I only put one submission on the video too, and I don't even create an Apple Clips, depending on how they were laid out. If everyone counted by twos, I just show one person's example. Whereas if some people counted by twos and some people saw 5 and then counted on from that number, or however they were going. So I'm just trying to make it so that the kids feel that they are excited to see their videos and they're excited to see their learning, but also they are learning the strategies that they need from them too.
Awesome. So I'm going to give the mic to Sam, because I have challenged you guys like 3 weeks in a row. The challenge is now Sam's.
I just text Jana super fast because it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm just like blowing up over here. So this is amazing, Kendra, and I'm so grateful that you shared this with us, because one of the things that we've been looking at is just like different ways to teach kids and provide lessons and content and that kind of thing. And so one of the things is I wanted to kind of label something right now, and to me, and Nicole and Jana, do you agree, like we would call this a micro video, which is like providing a small little instruction, nothing fancy or polished or anything like that, just to clarify instruction and to guide thinking. And that's one of the ways that we can really support students like during this time. And so my challenge, because we've challenged every other week, is I would love if you guys could try a micro video of your own and bring it back and share with us next week. And it can be on anything. Like it could be around number talks. It could be around like a science experiment you've done, like super, nothing polished or fancy, just a way to guide instruction.
It's exactly what it was. In our intermediate office hours yesterday, Denise shared a really awesome micro video, and it was of her son. And her son was just showing a demonstration, unpolished. I believe it was Denise that was actually doing the videoing, and he was showing how to do a high plank to a low plank. And he was like, I know you guys want to keep active, and he actually was showing us how to do it. What we're still waiting for is Denise's video, because I think she was doing a video of the same task. So we're going to wait on that one from Denise, but that's all it is. It's a very unpolished, quick clip of just a demonstration. And so, you know, Kendra, I think you showed a few of those this morning. You know, you have your Bye Bye Coronavirus. She's demonstrating her reading and her little author ability, right? And so there's Sam's challenge to try some sort of a micro video. Is there anybody who has questions about those?
I guess the other thing I'll just jump in and touch on, I'm not sure if I answered that last question totally, but all I do is when I'm looking at the kids' submissions on my iPad, I just download them to my camera roll. And then that way they're there for me to import into clips.
And Denise is now sharing that her video was a micro video. And it does not take long for her to do only a half a one. Denise, you don't give yourself enough credit.
Still waiting for the live example, Denise.
That's right.
That's awesome. So I guess a good time to just kind of say right now, like these little videos, they can be done using anything. Like we've explored Adobe Spark and we've explored clips. You can just use like your camera on your phone or your device. Like it's anything that kind of works for you. Seesaw, whiteboard, anything like that as well.
So for anyone who is looking at that number talk activity like Kendra did, you can find it in the school and district library, and it's right here. Number talk with pictures, subitizing, and like voiceover, like make it your own, right? Voice over it and okay.
We've got a question here for a Coles note comparison between Clips and Adobe Spark. Jana, would you be able, I haven't used Adobe in a while.
A preference, really. I think that it's just a matter of what you like to play with more. I find them equally as easy to use now that I've been playing with them. Clips is new to me, Kelly, this year. And Spark I hadn't used in about 4 years, but it was certainly like riding a bike and just getting back on. I found Clips has a few neater features. Like it has the stickers and it has the scenes that I haven't seen in Adobe. What do you guys think? I know some of you guys, I know Natalie said that she had done a Spark video, but some of you guys are saying the Clips. So Cindy says Clips has more animation.
Yeah, there's some pretty neat themes and things. Got a lot of preferred Clips.
A couple prefer Clips.
Yeah.
I just went to Sparks because of the familiarity, Jana, and I was doing a read aloud with not a lot of pictures, but I wanted them to see the text and follow along with the read aloud. So that's why Spark worked for me, except you have to talk really quick because you only have 30 seconds.
Yes, I learned that too.
Can I back up a bit in the chat here, because Gwendolyn wrote a question, And it says, in my individual small group conferencing, I'm struggling with mouse writing. I use Jamboard, which is awesome, but the mechanics, write, erase, are clumsy. Has anyone found a better way? And or is there a way to have something kids can work on with me? I'm going to throw that out there to see if anybody has an idea, but I really also want to know more about this individual small group conferencing that you're talking about, because that sounds amazing. Want to share, Gwendolyn?
Oh, it's nothing special. It's just me during my office hours. This week I'm trying having myself available like on video with them, like in a Google Meet. And so some of them, we were doing algebra. Some of them were struggling with it. And so I was using Jamboard, and because I can't write with the mouse, like to save my life, I was using sticky notes to write, okay, each number in the equation, and that was fine. But demonstrating how to get from A to B, like showing them, you know, start here, add this, do the side note, and then they weren't able to do it with me, or to, like, they couldn't then show me their strategy. So like they could do it on paper, which of course I couldn't see as they were doing, but I just wanted to know if there's a way for me to work on something with them where they can have the control of the pen, and or if there's a better pen option, like for horrible mouse writers like me.
Well, I'm wondering if, Sally, are you on? I know you had done a whiteboard clips video for us. Is there something on there that might be a solution for Gwen?
A whiteboard clips video? Sorry.
A whiteboard clips video, right?
I use, yes, we made the whiteboard clips video, but so if you're going to create the video, like I would use the iPad to do it, and it's easier too, but like she's talking about actually sharing with her students in the moment, right?
Like live.
Yeah, and so Jamboard would be one where it's collaborative. I just know that it can be glitchy. Is that kind of what you're looking for? Sorry, I was doing an email at the same time, so I didn't catch the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Teen, can you talk about what you just put in the chat there?
I heard the challenge of writing with the mouse, which is really clunky. So that's a hardware solution, though. So if you know if this is maybe if it's a real issue and she really wants to do something on the hardware side, that is a solution. So you can just use it like a pen. So you'll be able to mark up on a whiteboard. You know, whatever whiteboard software you choose, you could use that as a solution potentially.
Is it like a stylus? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I wish I could have one of those. That'd be great.
I'm not Oprah. I cannot be like, you get a stylus, and you get a stylus, and you get a stylus. Can't do that this week.
Gwennon, can I ask you something though? When you started talking, you were talking about your individual meets with students, and you were like, it's nothing special though. First off, it sounds pretty special. So I wanted to say that because, like, I'm sure kids probably really love the fact that you're doing that with them. Are you just kind of leaving it open for students to come as they see fit, or are you inviting certain groups at certain times, or how does that look?
Well, I've done both. So almost, I would say 99% of my kids are on Lexia. I have one student whose Wi-Fi is out right now, so they haven't connected. But other than that, everyone is on. And I was getting some kids who needed direct instruction from Lexia. So I did conferences where I scheduled one-on-one with certain students. So that was one way I did it. But this office hours time that I'm doing right now is I'm having, through that hour where I'm available for help for anyone, if they want to drop in, it's sort of like a drop-in help, like pop in, let's talk about what you're struggling with, let's work on it, we'll figure it out, and then they go back to what they were doing. So that's all it is. It's just that. Thank you for the kind words, though. Appreciate it.
That's great, though. That's great that students know that that's an option for them, because that's what they want right now, right? So good for you. And we had someone in the chat say, oh, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. If your kids have a stylus with consoles, example Nintendo DS, they are the best ones to use with iPads. I don't know if that is an option for you either, but thanks for the idea, Cindy.
I think now's the time. I just got to step in, Sam, and I got to say, like, I have been talking to a lot of you, and I see your smiling faces out there. And some of you, I don't see your smiling faces because your camera's not on. But you don't give yourself enough credit. You're doing good things, and sometimes you feel like you're not doing it, and it's just something small, but it's not really. This is you're making a difference in kids' lives.
It's huge.
And so you guys seriously need to give yourself a pat on the back, because we want you as guest teachers and we think that you're doing good things. So Gwen, I am always amazed when we talk, and you know, I have the fortunate luxury of being able to see Gwen a little bit more regularly because she is down here in Berlin. But there are others out there too, I know, and we all feel this way, that you might think it's not very big, but it is. And it's really neat, and I guarantee you someone's gonna take that idea and they're gonna run with it in some way. And so Gwen teaches. Gwen, what are you teaching now? What grade?
I almost gave you my smarty pants answer that I give everyone until you children.
But, I know, and that's why I said what grade, because I knew it was coming.
3-4.
Yeah, so.
I think we have to remember that we're all here to help each other out too. And I know, you know, just those small tips and tidbits that, like Jana said, you might think are really small, really make a big impact to reaching out to the students and engaging them. So any time you can help us share and be a part of it, and just know that it's to help each other out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've taken the time, if you feel like it's worthwhile that you've taken your entire Saturday to work on something, then even giving 5 minutes just to share those ideas. However, I do also understand how busy you are. And so some people just feel like it's not a time right now that they can do that. And we understand that too. Like, we love you guys and we're glad that you're here. Yeah. And so either way, we just want you to know how much we appreciate the effort that you're putting in.
Absolutely. And thanks to our guest teacher today, Kendra. Your ideas were amazing. I appreciate you being here.
2 weeks in a row, I don't think we have time for breakout.
No. Do we have any final questions that we want to sneak in before Rod gives us the axe? As usual, if it comes to you after, like, feel free to message us if you have a question, an idea, any of that. We love to hear from you. And we just appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. And don't forget the challenge.
And if there's anyone who wants to reach out to help everybody out next week, so please get a hold of us.
Yeah. Nicole, we had a message. Can you please post our Bitmoji page with our contacts again, so that if they want to reach out to us, they can? You want to even take a screenshot when we put it up, so you have our contacts readily available too? Awesome. Thanks, Nicole.
And I also know, just before we go, that Bethany, you've been part of the Lexia training, and you have done a great job in getting that out there to our team. If you have any questions about Lexia at all, we certainly could have Bethany back, and she could probably answer some of those questions for us as well. So don't leave those questions unanswered. So I don't know if you want to, in real time, sometimes I get questions thinking about things as I'm cooking dinner. So just find a way to write them down and then just email them to us.
Yeah. How do we reach Bethany? Question. Bethany, if you're still there, do you want to put your email in the chat for us?
She just did. Perfect.
Beat us to it. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And if that's all, then I encourage you to please go get some sunshine, because it could snow tomorrow, and yeah, you'll miss out.